have these flowers, or would you rather have these? Hello, beautiful souls. So would you rather, before and after? These are like her older flower embellishments, and I do remember some of them, not all of them, because I remember having them. And in this one here, I did make an adjustment where I cut off this flower and the stem here, or the branch, and that's the after. I could actually tweak this even further by cutting off this flower and the leaves, and this would just pop up and make it even look more dimensional. It is 3D, however, you can't really tell unless you turn it to the side like this. But if you just cut off the flower and these extra leaves, and well, I would actually extend the flower more with paint and bring this one a little bit more to cover up this leaf here, and then I can go ahead and just cut those parts off, and it'll really look like it's 3D from the top. Would you rather this one or this one? Now here's what I was talking about on the previous flower as far as cutting off parts of the top layer. This one is already like that, so looking at it from overhead, it already looks three-dimensional because this part has been cut off, and this already came like that. I didn't make any adjustments to this other than paint it on top and give it more of a fun, realistic look. And I also gave myself an option where I would have this flower pink and this flower red, as opposed to the original where this is red and this is pink, and you get 4 of these exactly the same. So I give myself a little bit more of a variety here. And the same thing with this one. You would only get 4 of these, and I added a pink. And I wanted to finish these up too, but I wanted you to see the before and after. So I can go ahead, after I'm done here, I can go ahead and paint over that one. Now this flower here reminds me of this one here, the one that I tweaked, and I ended up cutting off this flower and the stem here because I think that it looks more balanced to me when it's an odd number as opposed to an even number. This one is actually a little bit bigger than this one, but it's pretty much the same flower, except for this one had a 4th one. And here is the after. And I did leave the stem on that one on. And again, just like I explained before, I can cut off, I can extend this petal more and this one more, and just cut everything else off just to reveal what's underneath, which would be the bottom layer, so this can look more dimensional. This little one right here, oh my goodness, this one kicked my butt. I had to repaint over and over and over again until I got it to the way that I want it to look. And because I'm rusty, it took me longer than I wanted to, to paint all these flowers. And the other reason, which is the main reason, is that craft paint as opposed to artist paint, and that kind of set me back a bit. I need to replenish the artist paint because I haven't been painting in so long. I don't really have artist paint anymore. I've been using craft paint because I've been altering things, and so that's mainly what I have now in my stash. And so here is the after, and I'm pleased now at the way that it came out. But I tell you that this little one kicked my butt only because it's also, not only, but also because it's rounded as opposed to the bottom being more flared. And I will share that with the next flower, the next rose that I will that will come up after this. So this one was quite challenging for me, but overall I love the way that it came out compared to that. So as you can see here, this has more movement than that other one that I shared before. That one was rounded. This one has more movement, and it has larger petals on the bottom, which gave me an opportunity to paint it in two different ways. So this was the first one I did, where the petals are a little bit more closed in, and then this was the second one that I did where the petals are more open. So I also have a variety here. And as you can see here, this rose is a little bit different than this one. So if you know, making it different will sort of make the flower also look different, so it doesn't look like it's repetitive. Out of the whole bunch, I believe I liked this one the most without even altering it the way that I did. But here is how I altered it. And I also cut off the top layer of these leaves and these leaves. So now it has just these more dimensional. And although I did say I prefer them in threes, in odd numbers, I quite like the way that this one is arranged. So this one is actually, I'm actually going to leave this one as is. But if I was to cut this one off, I do like the three. But I'm going to leave this one as is. So what was the reason behind me painting over the original artwork? As you can see here, especially this one here, yes, it's mimicking a rose, but it still looks a little bit muddy or confusion, if you will. Now, these look like, to me, like computerized, like computer generated AI, not artificial intelligence AI, but Adobe Illustrator AI. And how do I know that? Because I use it. I use Adobe Illustrator to design. And it kind of looks like that to me. There is a feature in there that you can use with like a regular image, and it turns it like that. So that's what this looks like to me. And this is the after. This is the last one of all the designs that were included in the Smitten mystery box from Anna Griffin. And I have to say, this is probably, or could be, one of, I have a few favorites, but this one, I don't know, it's something about this one that I absolutely love. And this is the after. I love this one. It could be because it has the rosebuds, it's kind of flared out. It has a lot more movement, in my opinion. And again, I can cut these parts off and just have the rosebuds be revealed on the bottom, and this as well, and have that revealed on the bottom. And I did do a pink, I did paint a pink one. So would you rather this one or this one? Ooh la la. So would you rather have this one or this one? And I do understand and I do get that, you know, it's supposed to be vintage. However, it can be vintage and still look a little bit more realistic. I do want to share my opinion, but there is some truth. There are a lot of AI generated scrapbook paper, or, you know, paper for crafting. And I will not support that. As tempted as I feel, because I do feel tempted. I mean, there are some beautiful, beautiful generated artwork, but it's not authentic. You know, people that are authentic to their craft, like painters, artists, and illustrators, and they will continue to make their money because it's blessed spiritually by God, because it is authentic, and there's truth to that. When we make art artificially, we disconnect from our hearts, we disconnect from our souls, we're disconnecting from God in a way that we're not using the gifts that God gave to us naturally. And there's truth to that. Now, I'm not saying that AI art is bad, and not Adobe Illustrator, artificial intelligence. And it's one thing, to use it for personal use, and it's another when you're using it to make money. So again, I will not be supporting AI generated images, ephemera artwork, and I think I may have a few, and I'm gonna go forward with that, and I'm going to use it because I already spent the money on it. But I know that it's AI generated, and it's not authentic art from a person sitting behind an easel, or sitting on their chair on a table and painting for hours, or sketching, or illustrating for hours from their heart, from their soul, connecting with the Spirit of God, with the divine intelligence that is God, that is the driving force of being alive. And anybody can learn how to paint, anybody can learn how to draw or illustrate. It is a myth that when people say, I don't know how to draw, you don't know how to draw because it's not being taught in a way that you're able to. And I know that for a fact. So I am going to make a project, but not in this film. I'm going to create a project, and I will come back with that. I will probably do a process video on that. So until then, connect with your authenticity, be yourself. Don't allow those past voices that may still be in your head that made you feel like you weren't good enough, that you weren't worthy of love, and that there was something wrong with you. Those are their voices. Don't allow their voices to give power over you anymore. Thank you for your presence today. Let's share, be fair, be filled with love, and love one another. Take good care, everybody.